Good news for small business. You will reach millions of viewers 24/7 anytime, anywhere, locally and internationally.
Tell the world who you are, what you do and where you are.
In just one click,
we will produce your video and host it on BizLive Web. Let's get started today.
The Tamil youth in South Africa are fully aware of the fact that human beings, as social beings, have a natural tendency to develop a sense of belonging, a sense of wantedness, and a sense of pride of their roots, a sense of identity without which, according to psychologists, individuals suffer from identity crisis. If we agree to that claim, then we must also agree that, in that respect, the elders in the Tamil community are not serious-minded in equipping the future Tamil generation in terms of its heritage language, Tamil. For want of a stronger term, the elders have failed to empower the Tamil youth in terms of its time-honored culture. I have heard many learned men and women in the Tamil community proudly emphasize that music, theatre and literature forms a tripod of the Tamil culture in which the three disciplines are equally important and interdependent. I've also heard cultural leaders lament the fact that when a language dies, the nation dies. Need I remind that? When the culture dies, one will not know whether to bury or cremate the dead. But I haven't heard anybody say to our youth, "Come, I will teach you Tamil," or "Come attend our music classes," or "I will pay for your fees, go and learn Bharatanatyam." Yet our elders blame the youth for following courses and trends that are seemingly undesirable, unhealthy, embarrassing, and dangerous. As adults, we are expected to know that in the absence of our youth being meaningfully occupied, it is unavoidable that their mind becomes a devil's workshop. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret is catch them when they are young and afford them the opportunity to learn the Tamil language. Do not give them a choice. I guarantee you on a Sunday service, there will be 90% of seniors and 10% of the grandchildren who you would have forced. And the rest of them will be sitting watching TV or use exams as an excuse. And we as the elders sit on our laurels and say, no, that is fine. We accept those lame excuses. Yet we know very well that within that hour of service where they could have been, they would wake up late or be eating or watching TV. I'll give you an example. At these flats, there were two neighbors, one Christian and the other one a Hindu. So the Christian woman, every morning she woke up and said, "Thank you, Lord, for everything that you gave me. I thank you for the meal that we had today." And every morning she would make this a practice. So one morning she came out and she said, "Lord, you said knock and the door shall be opened unto you. Ask and you shall receive. And Lord, I am asking and I have faith that you will provide. Because my children do not even have a slice of bread." Ladies and gentlemen, that evening, when she opened her door, there were 16 packets of Pick and Pay filled with groceries. This woman was too excited. So she came out and she said, "Thank you, Lord, for everything that you've given me. You said, ask and you shall receive, and I have received, and I thank you." The neighbor comes out and says, "Hey, what you shouting for?" So she says, "No, this is the story. I didn't have even a slice of bread for my children, and I prayed and the Lord provided." And this woman tells her, "You were screaming so loud in the morning, I couldn't sleep. My husband felt sorry and bought it and gave it to you." Then she says, "Thank you, Lord, for providing, and thank you for making the devil pay for it." So, ladies and gentlemen, on a much more serious note, Aviyar in Hamudurai beautifully says, Nellu kirithanir vaikal variyodi pullukkumange pusiyumam tol ulagil, nallar uruvar ularel, avar poruttu ellarkum peyyum mazhai. The youth will look at me as if I'm speaking Greek. The adults are nodding in acknowledgement. For those who do not understand the Tamil language, when loosely translated, it will sound something like this. If there is one ripe soul amongst us, and if the good Lord wishes to bless that one ripe soul, we who are around that soul shall also benefit. Therefore, it is important. It is not a choice of going to Sunday services. It is important. The question is, ladies and gentlemen, have our community went about setting up Tamil schools where there aren't any Tamil schools? If yes, in the past 10 years, have we produced at least 10 youth that can speak Tamil fluently? Or be able to take the stage and debate an issue through the medium of Tamil language? Let us be honest. Did we do our extra bit to propagate our Tamil language? If not, can we resolve to initiate an awareness campaign today at the end of the session to empower our youth in Tamil language, culture, and religion? Before taking that resolution, it would be wise to determine whether or not Tamil education will be of any relevance to the general progress of the Tamil youth of today, who will be leaders of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not aware of the fact that language is the lifeblood of any community. That claim is based on the fact that an individual's thoughts, feelings, desires, and aspirations, to mention a few, are expressed in and through a language. Once an individual overcomes the barrier of language, he or she becomes a bona fide member of his or her community and binds himself or herself with others in that society. Further, language is the vehicle that transmits culture from generation to generation. Language is the key to the treasure chambers of knowledge. The language through which all this is accomplished is the mother tongue or heritage language. The importance of a heritage language, Tamil, cannot be stressed sufficiently because no other factor contributes more to the development of Tamil personality. It is the means by which the human being, as an individual, is enabled to participate fully and intelligently in the affairs of his or her people. A Tamil lyricist, Kasi Anandan, very sweetly says in one of his songs, Tamira, நீ பேசுவதும் தமிழா அன்னையை தமிழ் வாயாய் மம்மி என்றழைத்தாய் அழக குழந்தையை பேபி என்றழைத்தாய் என்னடா தந்தையை டேடி என்றழைத்தாய் என்னடா தந்தையை டேடி என்றழைத்தாய் இன்னுயிர் தமிழை கொண்டு தொலைத்தாய் இன்னுயிர் தமிழை கொண்டு தொலைத்தாய். Very sweetly put. It is said that the study of Sivan enables the individual to understand the relationship between God and soul and universe. The study of Subramania Bharatiyar's poems will convince us that the innate soul can move even the mountain. The study of Tirunavukkaras's hymns will guide us to search for man to find God. In other words, the study of Tamil language will facilitate the rearing of a new generation of youth, a courageous and a thinking generation of youth. The study and singing of Devaram hymns arouses God consciousness and helps to find peace and harmony in this rat race world of ours. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we will be singing our hearts out devotionally, solemnly, and religiously at our prayer services and religious functions. But if we do not know the Tamil language, we would not know the meaning of those hymns, and we would not know what we are singing about. We could be singing about the moon, and you ask somebody, what did you sing about? They'll say, no, I'm talking about Tirunavukkaras's walking on the beach. if we do not understand the Tamil language? Yamarinda morigalile Tamil mori pol inidavadu yengam kanon claim Bharadiyar, when translated means, of all the languages I understand, Tamil is the sweetest. How many more Vallavars and Vallalars, Bharadiyars and Bharadadasanars do we need to remind us that preserving our language and religion and culture is important? Ladies and gentlemen, my humble appeal to the elders in our community is, please set up Tamil classes that would equip our Tamil youth to be conversant in the Tamil language, and in the process be enabled to protect and preserve Tamil culture for posterity to love and cherish it.
The Shivani Sabhay at one time had 100 children learning Tamil here. Unfortunately, we are Indians. Then there was 99, then there was 98, then there was 97, then there was 96, and so forth, until there was no Tamil children. So who's to blame? What are the reasons for it? How do we then regather this nation and begin to bring pride again into their lives? And I agree that I've always said it, if you do not know your mother tongue, you will not know your culture. Mori illavattal panpaadu illa, panpaadu illavattal samiyam illa. And it's always been like that. And the struggle is still continuing and will continue. But one thing is certain, I heard people say, oh, in another few years, Tamil will be gone. I disagree. There are 100 million Tamil people in the world. It's only in South Africa that we might have this kind of situation happening. And that again is not our fault. It is not fault of anybody, because as you know, when people move from one place to another, it becomes very difficult to continue to keep the momentum. Nevertheless, again, it's a challenge to the Tamil people and to the organizations. Thank you.
It is the fault of the lazy parents who accept the lame excuses of their children. The children who have been baptized by westernization. And I agree that there will be no future for my children, for my children's children. There will be no more Tamil. If we, my generation of youth, carry on the way that most and majority of the Tamilians in this country carry on, by sitting on their laurels and accepting lame excuses.
I think I've taken a different approach and actually tried to be politically correct instead of being the Julius Malema like you. But it seems to work. I just want to remind everybody that in the 6 years that I've been trying to get the Tamil youth interested in learning the language, again, it's the parents who make the excuses. And it's a pity. There was actually a family that was here earlier who I constantly argue with, where the mother would say to me, you know, it's so nice to see what the youth is doing. You must try and get more members because you're such a small group. And I always say to her, auntie, but you have 2 children, why aren't they part of the youth? She said, oh no, they're busy with school, the son's studying. And I keep reminding her that, you know, it's the apathy from the parents that rubs off on the children, and that's why we'll never proceed. In terms of your challenge to me, I'd like to take you up on it, but with your assistance, if we can get this going. And let us not only do it in one province, but you being based in KwaZulu-Natal, let's run it as a joint venture and then take it from there. The more people we get at once, the better.
Good news for small business. You will reach millions of viewers 24/7 anytime, anywhere, locally and internationally.
Tell the world who you are, what you do, and where you are.
In just one click,
We will produce your video and host it on BizLive Web. Let's get started today.